Hello and welcome to Front Row Racing. It's Thursday night, which means it's time for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 12 at Monza in Italy. At the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, where the first Grand Prix was hosted in 1950, and today's race is going to be 27 laps long. The circuit is 5.7 kilometres long. And Rubens Barrichello, of all people, holds the current official Formula 1 lap record around here with a 1:21.046 from 2004. A little bit of information for you there, folks. Now, I'm from Row Racing DP, otherwise known as Dave Lays in Beds. I'll be doing commentary this evening, and I'm joined by my... I was going to call you friend, but I thought I'd go with pesky sidekick this week from Row Racing RI. How are you this evening, Ray?
I'm very well.
Good.
Looking forward to this. Hopefully a good race.
Well, I know we are both hoping that it's a good race. I mean, one of the things that we discussed before we came live on air was that we hope that majority of the World Series drivers watch the World Championship race from yesterday and will take turn one a lot more cautiously. Okay, we've got a few minutes before we send the drivers over to the racetrack. So I'm going to have a quick flash through the official result from the previous round 11 in Belgium. Hindle took victory there with his teammate Hybrid Nuke in second place. Dave the Harp finished third, with Ant69 getting his best ever result in fourth. Rickster finished fifth, K-Slay sixth, From Row Racing GP seventh, From Row Racing NW was the first of the DNFs, or the last of the DNFs I should say, and Acorn 95 and Charlie, both of those guys were disqualified in the race on the day, and then Richie Davey and his reserve driver, or reserve teammate of Azamor, were both disqualified, one for no race footage, one for corrupted race footage. So I would quickly, vital for the drivers to make sure that their footage is good and is there. It is an entry requirement to record your race footage. Driver of the day went to Ant69, with clearly his best race of the season, best result of the season, and a race he should be proud of and take confidence from for future events. Team of the day went to Victoria's Secret Williams Racing. That's Hindle and Hybrid Nuke. They were dominant in that race, taking the 1-2 victory. It's going to take some hard work from the rest of the field to slow these drivers down, although they did slow each other down a little bit in that race. And we could see quite a bit of a rivalry build between those two drivers. On to the constructors' standings. The Drivers' Championship, getting ahead of myself. So Hindle leading the way on 206 points, Hybrid Nuke in second place on 198. Then we've got a bit of a gap down to third place from Row Racing GP on 114. Dave the Harp in fourth place on 96 points. Rickster in fifth on 77, and then we've got K-Slay on 66. Acorn 95, he's got 51 points, and then we've got Richie Davey on 42, Adam 4600 on 33, Ant 69 on 31, Andy Russell on 18, Charlie on 13, Farfborough on 9, From Row Racing NW on 1. In the constructors' standings, we do have Victoria's Secret Williams Racing on 404 points. In second place is Killer Acorn Mercedes, that's Dave the Harp and Acorn 95. They've got 202 points, so half the amount. In third place, we've got Midlands Madness Ferrari, that's From Row Racing GP and K-Slay. They're on 188 points. And then we've got McCharles McLaren Honda on 110 points. Their drivers Rickster and Charlie. In fifth place, we have Underdog Racing Red Bull. Their drivers, Ant69 and Adam 4600, who may be a little late getting to us. And the Underdog Racing Red Bull team are on 64 points. If I didn't previously mention it, McCharles McLaren Honda are on 110. In sixth place, we have Godolphin Sauber on 60 points, and that's Azamor in as a reserve driver for Richie Davey today, and Andy Russell returning to the racetrack. In seventh place, we have Nightfall Man and Marusha on 46 points, and their drivers Front Row Racing NW and Farfborough. Okay, Ray, how are we doing for time? Or have I got through that quite quick?
Yeah, we're at 1929.
I was going to say, it must be, because I can hear the sound of soaps in the background. Coronation Street, I think it might be, but don't worry about it.
Past.
It is. It's 7:30 on a Thursday. Corrie's on.
Minutes, I'll tell the missus.
Don't worry, Ray. She's done enough. She's done enough already. I'm sure the viewers won't mind catching up with what's happening on Corrie. Okay. We will send the drivers over to the racetrack in a moment. I was going to do the question of the day at this point, but I want to make sure that Ray hears it. It's here. Okay, so today's question of the day. Last week's was a little bit of a brain teaser. This week's is very, very similar. So as we send the drivers over to the racetrack then, in a moment's time, here's your question of the day. You've got 2 coins, right? You've got 2 20p pieces, one in each hand. You flick them both up at the same time. What are the odds of them both landing on heads? So that's your question of the day to the viewers, and I'll pop that question in a little later on as well. And Ray's now sat there going, I was hoping it wasn't maths, and it bloody is. So sorry, Ray, but it's not as complex as last week. But yeah, there's your question of the day. 2 coins, flick them both up in the air, catch them at the same time. What's the chances of them both being on heads? What's the odds? Okay, it's time then for the Front Row Racing World Series round 12 at Monza in Italy. This is one of the classic racetracks on the calendar. We all know the corners around here, but I will go through them. Turn 1 and 2, the Rettifilo chicane, Curva Grande, then the Della Roggia chicane, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2, and then we're on to the Parabolica. What the drivers want to know, though, is it going to be dry? We've got beautiful sunshine and not a cloud in the sky. Are you pleased about that, Ray? Or would you have liked to have seen a little dabble of moisture around this track?
Oh, it says showers.
It does. It does. It does say showers. So cloudy with possible showers after a dry start. That'll get some of the drivers' attention. Now, before we really get going here, I've got to say, Ray, we've got a special guest with us this evening.
Yeah.
We've got a special guest. So you were right, it is the squirrel. We've come back to Monza and the squirrel is back with us. It's where he made his first appearance last season, so hello Mr. Squirrel, nice to see you. So, are you pleased that the squirrel's back, Ray?
No, because I've got peanuts here, and if it starts nicking them, I'll kill them.
I tell you what, I think you'll be safe, you know, because I reckon there might be a little bit of a man crush going on. And you're thinking, really? Could there be?
Oh, is he get his eye on?
I sang the song. Well, because I've missed you so much, me and my friends have got together and made a band, and there's a really special song that I would like to sing for you, if that's okay. Dave, tell him, it's okay.
So, it sounds like the squirrel's been missing you, Ray, and he wants to sing you a song.
I thought it was you he was missing.
No, it's you he's been missing. It's you he's been missing. He wants to sing you a song. Him and his mates have got together, formed a bit of a band. So, shall we have a listen?
I'm too scared to.
So there we go, a beautiful song sung by the squirrel, and if you don't get the connection, it's chasing cars. So anyway, there you go. So that's past a few minutes.
I'm getting a restriction order in him.
I tell you what, that's got me all emotional, you know, Ray. It's got me all feeling all lovey-dovey and emotional. The squirrel is showing you some love. I tell you what though, that squirrel is talented when it comes to singing songs. Fair play to him. Okay, I tell you what, I reckon we'll send the squirrel down to the pit lane for the rest of the event, and we'll focus a little bit more on some serious stuff. I couldn't resist. So for any of the viewers that have no idea what any of that was about, I tell you what, go and watch last season's World Series race, because even now when I watch it, it has me in creases. Okay, on to the drivers then, and the Floor Racing World Series Round 12 in Monza. Information from practice in the World Championship races that a possible qualifying lap of a 19.0 could be done, with sector times of a 27.1, a 26.7 and a 25.3. So they're the kind of sector times that could be possible, but with the FIA strict ruling, could be a little bit difficult. Now I'm watching from a Racing NW going around the circuit now. He's on a set of prime tyres. And when we caught up with the drivers in the press briefing earlier on today, Flora Racing NW kept his comments short and sweet. Okay, I've not done a single lap of practice, have no setup, so yeah, I'm just going to go for it. And fair play to him. He's currently sat in second place on a set of prime tyres. So let's see who else. We've seen Hybrid Nuke, he's already put in the fastest lap of the session with a 20.7, but I think we should be looking at possibly 20.0s or a little bit higher.
Yeah, I was just going to say, while the squirrel was singing, that's what happened. Yeah,
well, Acorn 95, he's just improved on his first sector with a 27.8, and when we in the press briefing earlier today, I think his comment was perhaps a little bit sarcastic. It was quite short and sweet again. It was, yeah, I love the new FIA corner cutting strict ruling, which is sarcastic because he was disqualified from Spa for corner cutting ruling. Very unfortunate for him, but hopefully he's had a bit of practice around here, can keep it between the lines, avoid those warnings and penalties, and have a race that we know he's capable of. He's just gone and popped it in second place. Let's see who else we've got out on track. K-Slade just returning to the pits. Andy Russell about to go through Sector 1. And Andy Russell, he shunned us again in the press briefings. He's becoming a bit of a sort of a ghost, really, in the press room. Sits in the corner, doesn't really say anything. So just looks at his phone, messaging people. I don't know who it is, but yeah, not a lot to say from Andy, but I think he's had his lap invalidated, which is unfortunate for him. Rickster, he's been through Sector 1. Yeah, I was going to say, I think his has been invalidated. But what did Rickster have to say when we caught up with him earlier on today, Ray?
He says, feeling good at this one, don't want to jinx myself. Well, we've just done it for your quali lap.
Yep.
But I had good pace compared to hybrid in practice, so we'll see. Interesting.
So through the practice sessions, he feels he had a very good pace compared to Hybrid Nuke, so hoping to take a bit of a battle to them, and he's making his way into the pit lane. And this is something that the World Championship commentary team mentioned yesterday, that ideally the drivers are better off fueling for 2 flying laps. The second flying lap is the quicker one because tyres take a while to warm up around here. Dave Hart's been through Sector 1, he's done a 27.5, he's going through the second Lesmo now. So as he makes his way up to the Ascari chicane, why don't you let us know, Ray, what Dave Harp had to say when we caught up with him earlier on today.
Yeah, I will do, just fingers not. If I can keep out of trouble, I'm hoping for another podium. Fortunately, there's not much trouble.
No, true. He's just had a lap invalidated, I think, no. But, yeah, I mean, quite a few of the drivers are hoping to avoid any dramas at the first the first lap, but I tell you what, we've got something a little unusual going on here. Front Row Racing GP on a dry track is running a set of intermediate tyres. Now, I tell you what, I reckon for his comments, we hand over to the Squirrel down in the pit lane. We'll go over to him in a moment's time, because it's a little bit baffling, this. I mean, why would you be running a set of intermediate tyres on a dry track? So, Mr. Squirrel, down to you in the pit lane.
I love the green stripes on the Inters and the pattern on them is lovely, like waves at the seaside. And I hope they take me from start to finish, as I don't want to pit here, as I always mess the pit through.
Okay, so GP's comments then, if you didn't quite catch that, appear to be that he likes the look of the intermediate tyre with its green stripe and wavy tread lines that remind him of the seaside, and he's thinking about taking the tyres all the way through the race because he doesn't want to make a pit stop because he messes up the pit entry. Well, yeah, I know he said it in some rather unusual pre-race comments, but this one is beyond anything I think we've ever experienced. Sector 1 time though of a 29.1. Yeah, I think we need to take him to see a doctor. A Sector 1 time though of a 29.1 actually wasn't too bad, but yeah, I wonder what he is up to. Rickster, he's on another flying lap. No, he's not. It says he's on an out lap now. Hindle's gone and popped himself in second place. He's on another flying lap. No, he's not. Sector 1 is a 30.9. Sector 2 is a 29.2. I've got a feeling he will be heading into the pits. Hindle's comments, though, when we caught up with him earlier, Monza layout means all cars will be bunched up. Expecting a tough race. Turn 1 is a disaster waiting to happen. And Hindle is into the pits. So, let's see, who else? Have we got anybody else on a flying lap?
Russell is just about to start one.
Okay, Andy Russell's about to start a flying lap, so we'll follow him through his lap and we'll go through the corner numbers and a bit of a lap guide here. Into turn 1, the Rettifilo chicane. A difficult braking zone, braking around about the 145 metre mark. So much time can be gained or lost through that corner. Now absolutely flat out around the Curva Grande, trying to keep the steering as smooth as possible. The twitchier you are, the more speed you lose. Now we're into the Della Roggia chicane. It's an interesting one, this. Slow it down early, then power through the chicane rather than slow down through it. Now we're into the Lesmos. Be confident, turn it in, get on the power. You can't make the apex though, it's going to push him a little bit wide, manages to keep on the track. Lesmo 2, it's the same as Lesmo 1. Turn it in early and on the power, control the rear end, open the DRS. Now we go down the hill, under the old oval banked racetrack, and then into the Ascari chicane. All about confidence and grip through here, and Andy's got the grip, lacking perhaps a little bit of confidence. Now we're absolutely flat out down towards the final corner, the Parabolica. I think he's had his lap invalidated there, which he'll be a little bit frustrated about. I mean, one of the things I will say is sometimes what we see visually on our screen is not exactly the same as what the drivers see visually on their screen, so if they look like they're not off the track, they might actually be on their own view. He's currently 11th place.
He gave Rickster slipstream, and Rickster's just went first with a 120.726.
You're right, we missed that. Well, you didn't, I did. Right behind Asamoah on that lap was Rickster, who's just popped in pole position time with a 27.5, a 27.4 and a 25.7. Not a bad lap, that. Lap time of a 20.7. That should really be coming down by a good half of a second before the end of this session. From a Racing GP, still out there on his intermediate tyres. I think someone needs to have a word with him to tell him that it is not raining out there. Hybrid Nuke, he is on an out lap. Hindle is in the garage. So Hybrid Nuke is just leaving the pit lane now. Dave the Harp, he is also just leaving the pit lane. Ant 69, he's on a timed lap coming around the Parabolica. And what did Ant have to say when we caught up with him, Ray, as he now makes his way into the pits?
Ant said, I'm nearly 2 seconds slower than yesterday, so start at the back and hopefully I can do what I know I can.
So interesting thoughts from Ant 69 there. And lacking a bit of pace today compared to yesterday, so he'll be hoping that he can start further down the grid, fresher tyres, make the most of anybody having any collisions, and really try and make gains in the race. Now, Hybrid Nuke, as he is building up to on his out another flying lap here, when I had a word with him earlier today, his comments were quite interesting, quite surprising as well, actually. He said he's not feeling very confident today. Insomnia has hit him in the past 2 nights, and he's been given penalties in every practice session so far. And last season he got on a curb and spun, so that's going to be in his mind. But he then added, he's just had 3 cans of Red Bull and now he's vibrating. So he's a little bit more awake after the 3 cans of Red Bull. So let's see how he gets on with his flying lap.
To get that sex toy away.
Yeah, well, we won't comment on that one. It's still quite early in the day, but yeah, I mean, I must admit, I don't like Red Bull drinks. They're horrible, and they have bull fluids in them, which, yeah, I don't fancy drinking those, thank you very much. Sector 1 time for Hybrid Nuke of 27.4. Ray, if you want to keep an eye on the likes of Rickster and Hindle to see if they are on a flying lap, and perhaps even Dave the Harp or Caseley, because Caseley has been fairly quick in practice. Hybrid Nuke, though, I think he's just had his lap invalidated. He has. That'll be turn the engine down, see if you've got enough fuel for another flying lap. So Hindle then, currently sat in 3rd place, coming around the parabolica. Get that power down. How you approach that corner leading onto your flying lap can have a massive effect of what speed you get to down this straight. At the moment he's in 3rd place. You can see sector times there until he goes through sector 1. You notice he's braking a lot later, about 120 metres. Could be a few reasons for that. One of them I do know. You can brake a lot more aggressively on a controller. So, round the curve of Grandi, into the 2nd chicane, the Della Roggia chicane. We'll see how he gets on through there. It's a nice sector time, a 27.3, sector 1. That's looking good. Now time for the Lesmos. Nicely into the apex of the corner. Allows to get on the power. Taking quite a wide entry into the 2nd one. And again, allowing him to get on the power. DRS now open. We're looking for a sector time of somewhere low 27s ideally here. 27.2, that's good. We could be looking at about a 120.4 on this particular lap. It'll all depend on how quick his Ascari chicane was and how quick he'll get through the parabolica. You can lose everything on this final corner by taking too much speed in. Rickster's session is over. So Hindle then heading up to the start-finish line. This could be a new pole position lap time. It is. It's a 20.5, and I don't think Hybrid Nuke's got enough time. He hasn't got enough time to get out and back in again, but he has got enough time to start another flying lap if he has the fuel to do so. Ray, have we got anybody else on a flyer? No, Hybrid Nuke, he is going for another lap, or he's going to complete this one. It's only a 21.0, so he is going to... No, he's backed out. He hasn't got the fuel to do it. Dave the Harp.
Brickster improved this time, but Hindle still had a faster lap time.
Okay, Dave the Harp, his lap is over. Acorn 95, his session is over. From a Racing NW, he's currently in 6th place. He's now on the option tyre. He may actually get another lap in as well. Let's just see if Hindle or Hybrid Nuke are going any quicker on, or Hindle's going any quicker. He's done another 27.3, another 27.2. He could back out of this lap now, I reckon, and just take it to the pits and save the fuel. And in 10 seconds time we're going to get moved away from the pit lane up to the commentary box as Farfbuz's session is now over. Hindle is going to complete the lap. It's a 20.1, so he does improve in that final sector, but to be honest he probably could have got away with not actually putting that lap time in, but maybe he wanted to do it to put a mental effect on his competitors. But from a Racing NW at the moment, he's going to be starting in 6th place. Now I do know a few of the drivers around this track are not keen on starting further up the grid because of what can happen in turn 1. So it's possible that quite a few of them have decided, you know what, I'm going to start at the back. Problem is, they all can't start at the back. Now I saw that Adam 4600 has joined us. He's not going to be able to pick himself a setup, but his comments when I caught up with him earlier on today, he hasn't done. He's done very little practice due to life being in the way. I'd like some points today. Also, I may be late joining. If I'm not on at the usual time, go ahead and I'll jump in and start from the back. So that is what Adam 4600 will be doing. Charlie JB, his comments, not expecting much. Starting at the back, doing no assists apart from corner racing line, so don't want to ruin anyone's race. I'm practicing for next season. So Charlie is already looking at the future rather than what is going to be happening here today. Then the only other person two people's comments who I didn't catch up with were K Slay, said his pace isn't bad, just a case of putting it together. And Azamort 590, avoid first corner carnage like DP last night, and is glad to be on the grid. So that's all of the driver comments caught up with. So it's time for us to take a breather and get ready for the start of the race. Oh, Rickster's left the session. Rickster's session is over. Ooh. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get back in or not. He would have to try very, very quickly to be able to do so. I don't think he'll have the time. He won't be able to get back in. That's going to be disastrous for Rickster then. But that puts Hindle in first place, Azamor in second, Hybrid Nuke in third, Dave the Harp in fourth, Acorn in fifth, From a Racing NW in sixth, From a Racing GP seventh, Ant69 eighth, K-Slay ninth, Charlie 10th, Andy Russell 11th, Farfba 14th. I think we lost Andy Russell. No, Sauber F1 team. I think maybe we did lose Azamor, and that's actually Rickster that should be in second place there. But it did say that Rickster joined, so he may be able to get back in and start this race. If he can't, then it's massively disappointing for him. But it is time now for the Front Row Racing World Series Round 12 in Monza. Are we going to have a dry start to the race? The drivers will hope so, and the fans will do as well. And they'll be pleased that they've got glorious sunshine beaming down on top of their heads, although they won't be happy about it warming up their beers. So, as we have a quick look at the grid order, we'll see what it shows for the drivers up at the front, and it looks like Rickster has not been able to make the start of the race, so that is massive disappointment for him. It's saying that Azamor is in second place, but he isn't unless it's gone and put Azamor in Rickster's car, which if it has would be absolutely ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah. The joys of the F1 game.
Yes, definitely. I tell you what, if it has put Azamor in Rickster's car, we'll go for a safety car restart, because that is wrong. So we'll get ready though for the start as if it's a normal start of the race, and we'll have a look to see whether Azamor is up at the front as we get retired from the session.
I think he's pulled out to go back to his place.
It's not letting me go on him. So Hindle is...
Oh, crash.
We've got a few people retired. I'm going to call a safety car restart on this one. Because it has put Azamor in Rickster's car and put him up near the front of the grid. So I'm going to call a safety car restart on this one. So Ray, if you can have a look on the live stream and just get a confirmation of the grid order. Basically it'll be the same as what was there, other than Azamor near the back and Rickster up in second place. So to the viewers, you have to bear with us a few moments because we'll have to shut the live stream down and get it going again. If Azamor had been put back on the grid at the back of the grid, it wouldn't have been a safety car restart. But given that it put Azamor in second place on the grid in Rickster's car, it will have an effect on the lobby. So bear with us a few moments. We'll get a safety car situation underway, and we'll have the live stream back up in a few moments' time. Hello and welcome to the Front Row Racing World Series round 12 in Monza. Let's hope we don't have to do a part 3. We're on for a safety car restart after a few odd goings on at the start of the race at the end of the previous session. A few things that Codemasters really could do with sorting out there. Ray, if you could just do me a quick favour, keep an eye on the message I've sent out to the drivers. Just to see if anyone needs anything clarifying. Now, for the viewers, the situation here is we've loaded up a new lobby. There'll be a qualifying session on. That's for the drivers to put their setups on. Then the drivers are to retire from the session. Once they have done that, the race would get underway, but we're going to do a safety car restart, which means that the drivers will take 1 or 2 laps if necessary to get into the grid order. I'll go through that in a moment. The drivers have been informed of what that order will be. So for this qualifying session, none of the drivers are to go out on track, load up their setup, and get ready for the race. Now, with a safety car restart, the process for that is quite simple. The drivers need to get themselves into position, preferably without causing too much trouble. Most of them have done safety car restarts before. Once Ray retires from the session, then that gives the green light to the drivers to say, okay, when you get to the end of the lap you are on, you can start the race. And Azamor has left the session again. I don't know if that's an accidental clicked on the wrong button there or not, but he has left the session. So the drivers get themselves into position. When Ray retires from the race, it'll tell the drivers, okay, it's time for you to get ready. At the end of this lap, you are free to go. The lead driver will be able to lead the pack as he sees fit, as long as he doesn't do any heavy accelerating and braking or drive too slow. Now just hang on one moment to see if we can get Azamor back in, but we have to get to a point where we say, right guys, we're just going to go anyway, as many of the drivers have now retired. If I retire, it'll end the session, so just hang on a moment. Ray, I don't know if you want to just keep an eye on the messages for a moment while I quickly go through the grid order. So the grid order for the start of the race will be Hindle in first place, Rickster in second, Hybrid Nuke in third, Dave the Harp in fourth, Acorn 95 in fifth, Front Row Racing NW in 6th, Front Row Racing GP in 7th, Ant 69 in 8th, K Slay in 9th, Charlie in 10th, Andy Russell in 11th, Farfba in 12th, Azamor in 13th, and Adam 4600 in 14th. But if Azamor can't get back in, then it'll be Adam 4600 in 13th. Ray, is there any comments in the messages?
Not yet, I'm just seeing, it says he's multiplayer custom spectating on his thing, so I wonder if he's trying to join back in.
Quite possibly. I mean, we've been in this qualifying session for nearly 3 minutes now, so I am going to have to click go at some point. Now, for the drivers, the safety car restart can be difficult situations to deal with. They're not always as easy as they sound. I'll tell you what, while we do quickly wait for Azza, give him a chance, we'll go through the question of the day again for the viewers. Today's question of the day, you got 2 coins, 2 20p pieces, 1 in each hand. You flick them both up in the air, you catch them both. What are the odds of them both landing on heads? So that's your question of the day. Okay, we're 3 minutes into the session, so I am now going to retire, which means we are going to be heading over to the start of the race. Now, safety car restarts are frantic for the drivers, but you know what? They are also frantic for ourselves. They can be absolutely manic. As I mentioned, the drivers do have to be cautious. For example, Adam 4600, he's currently in first place and he needs to drop all the way to the back of the field. But this is where the drivers have been informed previously. If you do need to drop back, try and stay to the left-hand side of the circuit as best as possible. And then drivers that need to move forward can pass you on the right. And sometimes, though, we do see people trying to get themselves into position into turn one, which is never advisable. Right, are you ready for this one then, Ray?
Yeah.
I hope so. Now, one of the things it may do for the settle some of their nerves about turn one, but only time will tell about that. I mean, if someone gets a decent run on another driver when the race gets going, then it could still end up with a few incidents up there. Now, it does say that Azamor has managed to get back in, so it will be Azamor in 13th place and Adam 4600 in 14th place, but we'll see how they go on. Now, as I mentioned, if the drivers can get into position in time within one lap, then Ray will retire early and let them know they're good to go. But if they can't get into position or they do so too late, then the drivers will be made to go on for a second lap, where Ray won't retire until that second lap. Okay, so given we're now on a safety car restart, Ray, have you got any predictions?
Second place, man, Rickster.
Ooh, interesting decision that. He did say that he felt he'd got a decent bit of pace around here, and he showed it in qualifying, so he could have a decent chance of scoring some fair amount of points, or even going for the victory here. It will be very, very interesting to see how the drivers get on. Like I said, we've got a 27 lap race. It is a long race around this particular racetrack, as we're just waiting now for all of the drivers to finish off their final commands to their engineers, their final choices on strategy, and it seems to be taking a while to do this.
Yeah, something's going wrong. Everybody's still get messages, something's gone wrong. That's no.
Now, people may be wondering why this is, but we've discussed it many times before. When you do have drivers disconnect and reconnect, it can cause issues. That's what caused issues at the start of the previous race. So yeah, hugely frustrating, especially for ourselves and the drivers. I'll just bear with it a few moments before we have to go. You know what? We are going to have to do a part 3. But, you know, it's interesting in a way because with some of the admins, it has sort of made us think about in future seasons saying, right, if you get disconnected, that's it, you're out. Because then you can't come back in and affect the lobby. Now, a few of the drivers are leaving. Now, interestingly, that's the one I was waiting for there, to see if when he leaves it makes a difference. No, it hasn't. Right, we'll go for a round 3 then, shall we? Apologies, viewers, this is a complete waste of everybody's time. Now, in all honesty, Azamor, no offence if you get disconnected again, we're just gonna go. Right, join us in a few moments, folks. Road Racing World Series round 12, Monza 3, safety car restart didn't work, something dodgy happened, gotta go again, taking loads of time. The squirrel's got bored and buggered off. He's gone to, well, I'm not even going to say what he's gone to go and do, but anyway, we're on for a safety car restart. I don't want to try and curse it, so I'll just go on about what the grid order will be. The grid order: Hindle, first place; Rickster, second place; Hybrid Nuke in third place; Dave the Harp in fourth; Acorn fifth; NW in sixth; GP in seventh; Ant in eighth; Caseley ninth; Charlie 10th; Andy 11th; Paul 12th, that's Farfber; Azamor 13th, and Adam 4600 in 14th. Let's crack on. So, we'll see how we get on for the safety car restart here. And I am now completely out of coffee, Ray. I've polished off the coffee that was going to get me all the way through the commentary of the previous runs, and now I haven't got a drink. Oh dear. Ray will realise he's got his microphone on mute and go, oh yeah, so I have.
Oh, no, yeah, it was on me. I was typing, sorry. And it was on me.
Yeah, I don't know, you bad boy. Right, okay, so let's get ready for the race then. The drivers are going to have 1 lap or 2 laps if they need it to get into the grid order. And then they'll be let loose around the Italian Grand Prix. As I tried to mention earlier on, a few of the drivers will be happier about doing a safety car style start around Monza here, given the nature of Turn 1, but it still does come with its difficulties. And one of those difficulties being how the drivers get their tyres up to temperature on their formation laps, because they can't go too fast, they can't go too slow, but they're going to need to try and get their tyre temperatures up, their brake temperatures up. Otherwise, when they get to turn 1 on their first flying lap, they're going to end up having absolutely no grip. Quick look at the potential race strategy here, suggesting a 2-stop, stopping around about lap 8 or 9 for a second set of option tyres, and then lap 16, 17 for a set of prime tyres. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few drivers here decide to put on the prime tyres at the start. Okay, 7 seconds to go. I would usually say a prediction, Ray, but you've already said Rickster, who starts in second place, could be on for a good shout, so we'll have to wait and see about that one. As we now get ready to get into a formation lap situation, so I shall move out of the way, let the drivers head off down to the first couple of corners. Ray, remember, you're not to retire just yet. You stay on the track. I don't want to retire too soon, because otherwise my car will go flying up towards that turn 1 and get involved in all of the other cars. So now I shall do the retirement part, and we'll have a look. Hindle at the moment, if it shows me Hindle, is currently in 3rd place. So Hindle is now up into the lead. We need Rickster in 2nd place, and he is. Hybrid Nuke in 3rd place, he is. Dave the Harp 4th, Acorn 5th, and W 6th. He's not in position yet. NW is now G and 69. No, sorry, it's GP and then and 69. So GP's in position. Charlie is not. Okay, Ray, do not retire. They are not in order yet. So just check this. So it is Hindle, Rickster, Hybrid Nuke, Dave the Harp, Acorn and WGP. And Charlie is 2 places out of position at the moment. We need K-Slate to move up the field. No, we don't have K-Slate in. K-Slate is not in the race. He's going to be absolutely devastated about it. Oh no, actually he is. Apologies for that, he wasn't showing me. And K-Slate, then Charlie, then Andy, then Farfba, then Azamort, and then M4600. Okay, so the drivers are going to have to continue on for 1 more lap. Another formation lap, so to speak. Okay, Ray, now that they have crossed the start-finish line, you can retire, which will let the drivers know that they can go at the start of this next lap. Hopefully people won't take it as you've retired race, because they are still under a formation safety car situation, and they have to continue on all the way towards the final corner, where the stewards on the stewards guide showed a safety car restart line. That's the point the drivers can overtake from. It's the DRS detection point before the entry to the Parabolica. Oh, and I've just seen a collision in the background. Yep. well, they will have to rejoin at the back of the field. I saw that it was a Sauber. This is a situation...
Andy Russell, sorry.
Yeah, this is a situation where in the safety car restart, if a collision happens, it is up to the drivers to report incidents that happen, and the penalties can be applied there. Okay, so Hindle will be free to race, and I tell you what, I think he's actually already decided he's going to bolt quite early. Nobody can overtake until they get past the safety car restart line, but Hindle has done what he did at a previous event and gone very, very early, so he's leading the race. Rickster's in second place, could come under pressure from Hybrid Nuke a little later on. I say a little later on as they make their way down into turn one. Couple of benefits from having 2 formation laps. Drivers get to save 2 laps worth of fuel or run lean for 2 laps as Hybrid Nuke making a move up into second place if he can hold it. Got 2 Mercedes going side by side just behind them as well. That's Acorn and Dave the Harp. So Acorn is in 5th place. From Racing NW has lost out to GP, and it's getting very, very busy. A little further down, we've got a car off the track. That's Amana Marusha. I think that may be from a Racing NW, and it looked like yes, he was also on the prime tyre. Now, Casely... sorry, okay, he's on the options. Now, Casely has rejoined at the back of the field, but... it would be hugely, hugely frustrating for any driver to be spun.
Oh, we've got Adam and Russell facing the wrong way.
You mean NW?
No, Andy Russell, and it was Adam for 600.
Okay, so yeah, you've mentioned that one. I've caught up to that one a little too late. So they've had a bit of a collision. So even with a safety car restart, a few of the drivers still finding it very easy to bump into each other. With Ant 69 in 8th. Farfba up to 7th place and is on the prime tyre. So look for Farfba going long in the early stages of this Grand Prix. I'll tell you what, Ray, have a quick look through the order if you can and see who else may be on the prime tyre. And 69 is getting double overtaken down the start-finish line. Azamort on one side, Charlie on the other. Let's hope they can all get through turn one nice and clean, and at the moment it looks like they can. I think Charlie might be on the prime tyre as well. He is. That McLaren definitely has got a white-walled tyre on it, so that's the harder compound. And when it comes to the tyres, a brand new set of options, they'll last 10, 11 laps, possibly even 12. Primes can last a hell of a lot longer. Without having qualified on these particular tyres, it will allow the drivers to take them longer, opening up many different potential strategies. And when it comes to strategies, last season in the World Series, all drivers pretty much did a 2-stop race, apart from Jason, who did a 1-stop, started from the back of the field and finished in 3rd place. So 1-stops are a possibility around this particular racetrack. The tyre wear is not huge, but when the tyres do go off, they go off quickly.
Yeah, you've got GP on primes, Farber on primes, then you've got Charlie on primes, Casely on primes, and Adam 4600.
So quite a few drivers then choosing to start the race on the prime tyres. The front 5 cars though, they are all on the options, and they are all very, very close to each other. With having been able to save those or put the engine into a lean mode for the opening laps of the race, it will allow for aggressive usage of the fuel. And then we've got sort of 6th, 7th, 8th, sort of a mixture of prime runners and option runners as Farfba trying to make a move on the Sauber here of, I think it's Azamort. It is. Oh, Farfba and Charlie come together. That's Paul into the barrier. That could be a front wing gone. It is a front wing gone. That's a disaster for himself there.
Yeah, and when Charlie came out the corner, he nearly lost it the second Red Bull. He was quite close to Azamot. I don't know if there was a wee bit of touch, but
he's got Ant 69. Yeah, he's attacking him. Right. But into the Ascari chicane, he decides not to actually go for the move. Quite often it can be better to just wait, use the slipstream and use the DRS down the start finish. But Charlie here has been looking fairly quick. Asimort's on the options ahead, and Charlie's kind of keeping up with him at the moment. If he can get DRS, may be able to get a move done. Now, Ray, you were part of the commentary team yesterday. We saw pit stops as early as lap 6 yesterday. For the option runners here at the moment, what sort of lap do you think they're going to be coming in on, given that they haven't qualified on these tyres?
About lap 8, I'd say, to get an extra 2, I'd say 8, 9.
Quite possibly. I think 8 may be the earliest that we will see them in. Let's have another quick look up at the front. Hindle opening up a bit of a gap out in the lead to Hybrid Nuke, who's 3.2 seconds behind, and Rickster is still there quite close behind him. The Mercs have dropped off a little bit over the course of the last 2 laps, so the field beginning to get a little bit spread up the front, but tyre wear is now going to be more of a factor. Dave the Harp's up to 4th place, I think he was anyway. Oh, Acorn having a big wiggle into Ascari. Well, what's interesting now is that Front Row Racing GP in 6th place, the lead prime tyre runner, he's 10.5 seconds off the lead, which is a bit further than he would like. But he's almost within touching distance. The option tyres are going to start falling off now. Their pace is going to start dropping. The prime tyres, their pace is sort of only just now really getting going.
Yeah, I'm just watching Charlie go around. He closes up and then I think he's losing too much at the Ascari chicane. Oh, he's went too deep on the brakes. He's had to bail out the first corner and cut it.
A bit of a mare there for Charlie then, losing it under braking into the turn 1 chicane, and these guys have now got K-Slay beginning to catch them up. He's in 10th place, also on prime tyres. Will be frustrated at how the start of the race began for him, but on those prime tyres it could give him a much more aggressive strategy towards the end of the race. Nightwalker in 11th on option tyres, Andy Russell in 12th. Let's see what tyres he is on. He's now on prime tyres. Farfber, he's had to make a pit stop. He's a long way down now in 13th place, with Adam 4600 on the prime tyres, also a long way down, probably having had to have made a pit stop as well. If we try and have a quick look at how Hindle's tyres are actually looking, yeah, front right looking a little bit worn there, rear left, yeah, that's not looking too healthy. That front left, that's looking like it's been taking a bit of a beating, and around here the front left does get mauled really. It's probably the tyre that gets worn the most. Let's see if we can have a look at the rear right tyre. Go on.
And 69 in the pits. Lap 8.
So lap 8 then, and he's getting rid of the option tyres. No damage on the car, so that is a strategic stop for him. Onto another set of the option tyres. He's going to come out somewhere around about 12th, maybe it will be 12th place behind Andy Russell. Now, Charlie on his prime tyres, he's not quite able to keep up with Asimort at the moment, who is running option tyres. Az has pulled out a little bit of a gap, but we did see Charlie have a little bit of a moment into the first corner. From a Racing GP, still the lead of the prime tyre runners, and he's 11.5 seconds off the lead, so still losing time to the leader, but definitely closing in on Acorn 95, who is 8.3 seconds off the lead. And I think, you know, that Rickster, he's been catching up Hybrid Nuke. Farfber, his session is over. A frustrated race for him. Once he's lost his wing, it puts him a long way down. Rickster, he's gone for the pits, so that'll be an undercut for him. Keep an eye on him, Ray. Let's see. You're right, Hindle is in the pits. I tell you, I'll watch Hindle, you watch Rickster. There's also a Mercedes in the pits. Hindle's returning to track on a set of prime tyres. What's Rickster gone for?
Primes.
Okay, and I'm fairly sure it was Acorn 95. Yeah, he has also pitted. It's a set of option tyres for him then. K-Slay running his prime tyres has come out ahead of the at least Rickster there.
And Hindle's came right out behind Asimort, so he's got a bit of traffic while Charlie's got the gap to catch him with more traffic in between.
Well, for
so
Hindle,
it depends how hard Asimort defends. He's locking up, these tyres are going off, And here comes Hindo round into first Lesmo, late on the brakes.
He needed,
confident on the brakes.
He needed to get that done at that point to lose the smallest amount of time as possible. But that puts Hybrid Nuke now into the lead. Are we going to be seeing him heading into the pits on this lap? Or is he going to do what we've seen him do at other races, which is go a lot longer? He has seemed to have worked out a way to look after his tyres a bit better, but that's a line that suggests pit entry, and it is a pit entry. Dave the Harp now following him in as well. So Ray, if you could keep an eye on those guys in the pit lane, let us know what tyres they go on to. As From Row Racing GP on the prime tyre now takes the lead of this race.
Hybrids went options as far as I can see. So, yep. And Dave the Harps went options.
Okay, options for both of those guys then. So they need to make those tyres work. But you know what? I think Hindle's had an absolutely fantastic outlap there, which has gained him a ridiculous amount of time over his teammate. And I tell you what, I think, is it Rickster or is that Charlie? It's Rickster. Rickster has jumped Hybrid Nuke from doing the undercut, but Rickster is now stuck behind Caseley, who's running prime tyres that have been on the car for 10 laps, whereas Ricksters are brand new. So Rickster is going to try up the inside into the Lesmo. We saw Hindle do it a lap earlier, and Rickster's had to do the same. Here then comes Hybrid Nuke. He's going to want to get past as early as he can on those option tyres. DRS is available at this point. He may want to go for a move into the Ascari chicane, knowing that Caseley's tyres are old, but he's going to have to be cautious at the same time. I think he's just clipped the back of him, wiggling in the under braking there. So very, very close here. I'm just wondering if From a Racing GP has gone for the pit lane. No, he has not. Charlie, he hasn't yet either on the prime tyres. He's in third place at the moment, and he's got his teammate beginning to catch him up, so may be able to give his teammate a little bit of a boost here with a bit of slipstream, as the cars behind Rickster are going to want to try and attack him with DRS. Here goes Caseley going for the move. Hybrid Nuke having a look, realising it's not on. He's wiggling again under the braking. Getting very, very close between those two there. I think that's definitely showing that Hybrid Nuke is pushing that car as hard as he can under the braking because he was definitely wiggling. But now it's an interesting situation for Charlie with his teammate behind him on much fresher tyres. Charlie's had an off. He's had an off. This is where his teammate's going to come past him, and he does. And Charlie slots in right behind him. I doubt there'll be a call.
Charlie going to do the teammate thing and block him? Sorry.
Well, it's not a case of block him, it's a case of defend his position. I think he might try, but Hybrid Nuke has got a better run on him. DRS up the inside into Ascari. He's going to try and go, and he's ahead with the better tyres. He should be able to keep hold of that one, and he does. From Row Racing GP coming around the Parabolica for the 11th time and not going for the pits just yet. He's still leading this race. So we have a Ferrari leading the race here at Monza, but we do have a Williams in second place now, 5.5 seconds behind him, already made a pit stop and on the prime tyres, potentially showing for options later on. As Rickster and Hybrid Nuke now battle it out down the start-finish straight. Hybrid Nuke taking third place. But again, these guys are on different compounds of tyres. Rickster's on the primes, Hybrid Nuke is on the options. So Rickster now in slipstream, as we saw yesterday, Ray. A car on prime tyres following a car on option tyres in the slipstream can keep in touch.
Yeah, and we've just watched Caseley and Charlie in the pits, and Charlie's jumped Caseley in the pit stops. And 69 comes in to split them up.
So all getting very busy then at the exit of turn 2 and into Curva Grande. As Caseley now running the option tyres. I think Ant 69's running a little bit wide, perhaps realises that with his tyres are a little older, it's not worth really fighting that one too much. Interestingly though, I mean, Charlie was up in third place, or fourth place when he made his pit stop. for his tyres. So he's been able to take his tyres to lap 12. Casely here in 9th place on a set of option tyres. If he could make one more stop for a set of options, could find himself gaining positions here in this race. Dave the Harp in 6th, still behind his, well, now behind his teammate, but a few seconds off the back of him. Rickster, he can see Hybrid Nuke ahead, but can't quite catch, but the slipstream is helping, definitely helping there. It should help him keep touch a little bit. He's not going to be able to attack enough to overtake, but it's going to do enough to keep him close enough that when he goes for another set of option tyres later on, it could benefit him, because Hybrid Nuke has not ran the prime tyres yet.
Yeah, and GP just needs to watch that he doesn't get a puncture.
No, I mean, we saw it in last week's race. I mean, he said he'd tested the tyres, and he'd tested them a lot. And he was able to do 15, I think it was 15 laps on a set of options at Spa. No, it wasn't 15 laps, sorry. It was about 11 laps at Spa on a set of option tyres. So going to the end of lap 8 for him he was not expecting to be a problem. However, the end of lap 8, they decided to go pop. But the thing is, he is running the 13 laps on the prime tyres, should be fairly comfortable. What he'll need to work out is whether it's going to benefit... I was about to say whether it's going to benefit him more to go for the pits, put on a set of option tyres and do 2 stints of options. It looks like he is. Casely having a look at Charlie into Ascari, thinks better of it, tries to get Charlie a little bit out of shape. Casely's got a much better run through Ascari, but you don't want to overtake down here because you're going to gift the other driver the DRS, and it'll be interesting to see who gets it, because if Casely gets ahead at this point, neck and neck over the line. Not sure who will get DRS, but if it's Charlie, he's going to end up staying ahead. Can't see who's got their wing open. It's not showing us, but Casely is pulling ahead by the looks of things, so maybe Casely did just manage to get that. But Charlie's still fighting it into turn 1. Oh, big screech of the brakes, a little locking of the wheels, and Casely having to back out of that one. GP, you said, had pitted. He's come out in 6th place on a set of option tyres. Okay, go on. What was you about to tell us there?
I was about to tell you that.
Okay. Well, if we got any information from any race engineers on YouTube, or even any comments actually to the question of the day, I don't know if you've actually been able to have a look at any of those comments, but yeah, I thought I'd pop it in there and ask.
Just USS Sylvester saying he thinks Richter has a good chance in this race to take the win from the Williams drivers.
He has got a chance. His only downside is that Hindle, who's leading the race, is running the prime tyres, so Richter would need to be quicker at this time. I do think Richter has got a chance of potentially giving Hybrid Nuke something to think about, definitely. And I tell you what, the Mercedes, they're beginning to get a little bit close again. Now, for anyone that is watching that didn't catch the question of the day, as I mentioned it earlier on about 4 times, here's your question of the day. And actually, saying that, I did actually say to Ray, if you want to come up with a question of the day to put to me, you're more than welcome to. So I don't know if you thought of one, Ray, but my question of the day today is a bit of a mind bender. You've got 2 20p pieces, 1 in each hand. You flick them both up in the air. If you don't know what 20p pieces are, it's money, it's a coin. You flick them both up in the air, you catch them both. What are the odds of them both being on heads? So that's the question of the day. Feel free to send in your answers on the YouTube comments, and I will answer it later on. Actually, Ray, you've heard that question a few times now, so come on, what's your answer to it?
Well, you've got 2 coins, so you've got 2 chances.
Okay, Dave the Hart's getting very, very close to Acorn 95 now. I'm not sure if these are on the same compounder tyre. I think they are, both on the options. But Dave the Hart is looking fairly racy at the moment. Got a good run out of the Parabolica. Plenty of slipstream. DRS will be available. But frustratingly, on this long run down to turn 1, it's better slipstream the further back you are. But Dave the Hart does manage to sneak ahead of his teammate, who gives him a little bit of a nudge, as though to say, well done, mate, thank you very much. Although I doubt that's what that really meant. Just a bit of a locking up and a bit of a nudge there. Casely Yeah.
Position over Charlie on the slipstream. Oh, baby.
It was close, but they've done it. They've managed to get through on this occasion without bumping wheels. So that puts K-Slate up to 8th place and Charlie down to 9th. Now, Azamor, sorry, go on.
I'm just trying to think, does 20 pence piece have the head of the Queen on it?
Yes. So K-Slate and Charlie, it doesn't have to be, it could be any coin. I'm just using a 20p piece, but flick a coin up, heads or tails. What's the odds of it landing on heads and heads? It's really buggy now, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea of the question. Okay, K-Slay and Charlie, they are still battling it out here as they come out of Ascari, but K-Slay has opened up that gap a little bit. He did mention early on that he has got pace around here, and I must admit, I'm devastated for him. Oh, he's ran wide at the Parabolica. That could give Charlie half a chance. I don't know if he'll have DRS, but we may see the effect I was on about. The further back you are, the better slipstream effect you can get, but Charlie's not using it. K-Slay making good use of the extra bit of tarmac down the start finish, keeping him in that position. Let's have a look up at the front, see if the gap is closing at all. Actually, Ray, if you could do that for us, just check out what the gap is between Hybrid Nuke and Hindle, because I think we're about to have Battle Part 3 going on into the Della Roggia chicane, and Charlie manages to do it around the outside, I think, and that'll have bugged K-Slay a little bit there, but a nice little move by Charlie to put himself back up to 8th place.
Yeah, it's 4.6 seconds.
Well, I can tell you then that gap is coming down as Hybrid Nuke now. Yeah, he's gone for the pits with 10 laps to go. He's decided now's the time to put his prime tyres on. So that's going to move Rickster up into 2nd place. And Hybrid Nuke, he was actually catching Hindle because last I looked, he was 5.5 seconds behind. We've got Acorn 95 in the pits as well. So let's see, he should be going to the prime tyre. And he is.
Is it changes?
Well, it will be the prime tyre because I don't think he's ran the prime tyre yet. Now, it'll be interesting to see.
He's coming out beside Gately and Charlie. Oh, that was close. I think Charlie was going to go for a move, and then that glitch comes in. Click Gately's sideways round the first chicane. Sorry. But
K-Slay has retaken that position, and Azamor is only a couple of seconds up the road. So even though these guys are battling it out, they are catching Azamort at the moment. This could very soon become a 3-way battle. Charlie's struggling a little bit now with his tyres in the Della Roggia chicane. That gives K-Slate a little bit of a breather. So Azamort, you're going to have to watch out because you're going to be coming under attack fairly soon. Now Dave the Harp, he's pitted. He's come out just ahead of Front Row Racing GP, and Dave the Harp is... No, Dave the Harp has not pitted. This is a straight-out fight for position at the moment. Front Row Racing GP on his option tyres, which will be much fresher. And I think Dave may be going for the pits now. He is. So Front Row Racing GP battling in position, technically for 4th place at the moment, and catching up to a car ahead of him, but it's not a car in position. That's Adam 4600, who will now be a lap down. So Front Row Racing GP is actually, even though he was running intermediate tyres in the dry in qualifying, he's actually putting himself in a decent position in this race at the moment.
Azamort's pitted and Dave the Harp coming out behind his teammate.
Yep, so Dave the Harp having pitted and his teammate undercutting him. That puts Acorn ahead. I think, yes, Acorn was behind, so the undercut working for Acorn there. I suppose, really, Dave being the lead car could have gone for the pit lane first and probably would have benefited from doing so. Just up the road from these guys, let's see, yeah, we've got K-Slate and Charlie. Azamor must have pitted. He's not there anymore. But K-Slay and Charlie's... Yeah, I remember you saying now. Casely and Azamore, no, Casely and Charlie still kind of fighting it out. So, as you mentioned, Rickster into the pits. This should be for a set of option tyres. He'll only have 7 laps to do on them. And yep, GP is in the pits. I tell you what, he's only been on those tyres for about 7 laps. So obviously it's strategic. 7 laps on each set of option tyres and really push them as hard as they will go. Casely into the pits. Charlie into the pits. Acorn 95 now passing them as he goes down the start-finish straight. And he's still got Dave the Harp trying to catch up behind him, and there's GP exiting the pits now. Is he going to get out ahead of Dave the Harp? He does, just about, by the looks of it. So for Racing GP, even though he pitted later, because he's on better tyres at the end of his stint and better tyres now, he's going to come under attack here from Dave the Harp. He's going to try up the inside into the Della Roggia chicane. It can be easy, but he is now ahead. But GP's got a better exit from the corner by the looks of things. Could give him a chance to attack into the Lesmos. No, he's not decided to attack here, although he will have DRS and then slipstream in the relevant zones required. Now Hindle, he's not made, yes he has, Hindle has made his second stop. He is now on the option tyres that'll take him to the end of the race. Car he's catching up is from a Racing NW, I believe. A Hybrid Nuke in second place. He says he's 4.5 seconds, 5.1 seconds behind, and he's on the prime tyres. Rickster is on the option tyres. Though he's got a car between himself and Hybrid Nuke, though. That'll be Adam 4600, it is, who is a lap down. Well, so the questions now are, can Rickster catch Hybrid Nuke? There's about a 3-second gap between the two of them. On the faster tyres, he may be able to do so. So viewers, place your bets. Do you think Rickster can catch Hybrid Nuke in the final 6 laps as Adam 4600 moves out of the way, knowing it's a blue flag situation? I'll tell you what, I think he can catch him, because Hybrid Nuke is only just up the road. He's there, he's within biting distance.
Yeah, GP got ahead of Dave the Hart. Now he's on for Acorn to catch Acorn. He's 3 seconds behind at the minute.
Okay, so GP's strategy been working for him up to now, and Acorn, I believe, is on the prime tyre. He is, so we've got 2 sort of battles for position then. Option tyres hunting down prime tyres with similar gaps between them. Interestingly though, Acorn has opened up a very big gap over his own teammate. They were very close before the pit stops, but now after the pit stops and a couple of laps later on, that gap has grown quite a lot. I've just heard you...
Hybrid's lost quite a lot of time to Rickster. He's now only 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, well, last we looked, Hybrid Nuke was 5.5 seconds behind the leader. He's now 6.7 seconds. That gap's going to keep growing because Hybrid Nuke is on the prime tyre. It's gone to 7.1 seconds. So Rickster is closing, well, Rickster's closing in and Hybrid Nuke is losing time on the prime tyre. So this is a battle that is going to be upon us very soon. I tell you what, Ray, if you just want to keep an eye on the GP and Acorn one and see if that gets close as well, because these are the 2 main battles to keep an eye on at the moment. Now, for Hybrid Nuke, he did say before the race that he wasn't feeling overly confident today. I'm wondering whether his Red Bull has worn off, although I'm sure when he was on his way into the pits, he was picking up that can and drinking as much of it as possible. He's lost a little...
GP's catching Acorn in well, he was in the Scary, but Acorn's got a good exit, but we're down to 1 second gap.
So they could have a move going on then into... Yeah, he's close. He's really close. Yeah, DRS will be available then for Front Row Racing GP. Acorn going defensive already. The Ferrari fans are ready to go wild if you can get this position, this move done. But as they get down towards turn 1, you're right, it doesn't look like he's quite got the speed. Either that or he's just playing it a little bit cautious and not trying to use up too much fuel. Because although I mentioned early on this is a bit of a fuel saver, it is also a fuel drinker. Or sorry, they were able to save fuel in the safety car formation laps, but it is a fuel drinker. Another battle that's going on is Casely 7th, Azamore 8th, Charlie in 9th. Let's catch back up to Rickster and Hybrid Nuke. Now for Hybrid Nuke, he's going to have to hope that Rickster's tyres begin to wear. The only problem is Rickster's not been on them very long. He's going to be close enough for DRS, I think.
Yeah, he's the second behind, so he might just get it. I'll be able to tell him if he opens his DRS down the straight.
Well, he should be on for a good slipstream effect here. Oh, he is using the slipstream. Hopefully he'll have his engine in rich. Yep, DRS is open. Hybrid Nuke sort of opened the door to the inside, but Rickster deciding not to use it. From a Racing GP on Acorn 95, take 2. He doesn't look like he's any closer than he was the previous lap, but maybe the engine is turned up a little richer. Acorn choosing to go defensive, and he's got the straight line speed over that Ferrari at the moment, which will not make the Tifosi fans very happy. With 3 laps to go, oh, the pressure is on.
Is he doing a I'm not overtaking you till the last minute in case you get back ahead of me? Possibly. There are some circuits where you actually do have to think about that. You have to contemplate, right, if I overtake this guy on this lap, he's going to be right behind me, he'll get DRS on the next lap, and that'll win him, that'll have him gain the position on me. Or Rickster's got a fantastic run out of the Ascari chicane. He's all over the back of Hybrid Nuke. He's pulling out of the slipstream. This is a tactic to get the DRS, which he will get, but he needs to be really close now if he can, because you know that Williams will have its engine turned up to the maximum. But it's time for the McLaren Honda to show what it can really do. We'll wait for a big billow of smoke and the engine to fail. But Rickster's going for it. He's going to be made to cut around the outside into turn 1. He could be better under braking. He is. He's been given a little bit of a nudge, but that's Rickster up into second place. The McLaren fans going absolutely bonkers. From Row Racing GP. He's closer. Yeah, he's closer than he has been before, and there, he's making the move, but using a bit of grass for extra traction by the looks of it. But he's now up into 4th place, so the Tifosi do have something to celebrate as long as he can keep hold of the position. It looked like he was perhaps a little bit wide and Acorn a little bit tight on the corner, but now it's a case of you've got to try and stay ahead. So maybe for the previous couple of laps it was a case of try and save a bit of fuel. Acorn trying to chuck it back up the inside. Oh, he's managed to do so. Oh, GP won't be overly happy about that one. I think he's giving him an illegal overtake. Oh, the FIA, the Ferrari International Assistants, working their magic here in Monza. Flags flashing.
There were yellow flags flying, we did see that, but it may have been an incorrect illegal overtake there, or it may have been a correct illegal overtake. We don't always get to see exactly what is happening on the track. Now Rickster looks like he's opened up a little bit of a gap to Hybrid Nuke, but I don't know if it's enough to have broken DRS. We'll see if Hybrid Nuke can close that gap in. He is gaining.
No, his DRS is open.
You're right, his DRS is open, but he's losing too much through the rest of the lap to be able to gain. Now, Ray, we'll get to that point of the race. We've got 1 and a bit laps to go. Would you like to go and have a look at the race directors page and just have a look, see if a few have got penalties? Because we do know that the FIA ruling around here for track limits can be a little bit cruel. Oh, from a Racing GP, an Acorn 95 looked like they're having a bit of a moment into turn 1. Didn't see exactly what happened there, but they're still battling it out. And this is bringing Dave the Harp into the fight now. So Acorn really trying to make it not easy for the Ferrari driver. He's going to try up the inside into the Della Roggia chicane again. GP trying to say no to that one, but can't quite fight it off. could get very, very interesting this over the last lap of the race, as Acorn 95 has now got himself back up into 4th place. And DRS will be available here into Ascari. GP's going for it. He's going to end up having to go around the outside through Ascari, or play it safe and get the other driver out of position and try and get a better exit. It's not quite worked though, and Dave the Harp is closing up, so I'm sure the leader will now be on the last lap of the race. So Ray, an update on penalties if you will. Oh, we've got a car lagging about massively ahead of these guys here. That's what's causing yellow flags I've just spotted. But yeah, give us an update on the penalties if you can.
Yeah, one of the leading 3 cars has a penalty.
Oh, that could make things very interesting, as Ferrari, Mercedes and Mercedes go at it once again down into turn 1. GP takes the lead again, and the lead takes the position, and Acorn again trying to brake as late as he can. Now we've seen Acorn go for the move into the second chicane on a couple of occasions. Is he going to try it again? GP sort of defending that one off on this occasion, and see if he can hold the position. Oh, a little bit of a nudge, but he has. Oh, Acorn looked like he took a little bit too much curb there. He's out of shape. He's into the barrier. He's into the barrier. He'll be disappointed about that one. He's now going to have to be careful of the other Ferrari that's catching him up. But let's have a look where the leader is, because he's coming around the final corner for the final time. He's going to take the checkered flag here in Monza. A fantastic result for the Williams team, except for the fact that Richter is in 2nd place at the moment. He'll be pleased with a 2nd place there. Hybrid Nuke in 3rd. From a Racing GP, he's in 4th place at the moment. Oh, Adam 4600's car lagging all over the place, putting these guys off. But Front Row Racing GP has got Dave the Harp right up his gearbox. This could get very, very close over the finish line. I know you've got to want to mention about K-Slade, but let's just keep an eye on this at the moment. Front Row Racing GP, he's got to fight off that Dave the Harp there, and he has done. 4th place, 5th place for those guys. 6th place K-Slade. What did you see, Ray, as he's about to cross the line?
He got so much speed through Ascari that hit Acorn, but he managed to keep his front wing.
Good. Acorn then, he's going to finish the race. No Front Wing in 7th place. Charlie in 8th place. Andy Russell in 9th. We've got a Sauber battle. Azamore and Andy Russell. This really where Azamore. Oh, and they come together across the line. And 69, excuse me, trying to do commentary without a drink is awful on the throat. And 69 in 11th place there. I think there'll be a few drivers quite frustrated about how that race has gone. He's taken the victory here, and I tell you what, Rickster's been dropped down to 3rd place. That means that Hybrid Nuke has been bumped up to 2nd place. So Rickster will be pleased about finishing 2nd. He'll be gutted about ending up 3rd. So as they spray the champagne from the Italian vineyards, I'm sure they'll drink a bit of it as well and get ready for their parties tonight in Italy, in Monza, where they really know how to throw a party. So looking at the order then, Hindle is 1st, Hybrid Nuke 2nd, Rickster 3rd, Dave the Harp, he's been moved up to 4th place, with Front Row Racing GP down to 5th place. That's because of penalties. K-Slay 6th, Acorn in 7th, Charlie in 8th, Azamore 9th, Andy Russell 10th, and 69 11th, from a Racing NW 12th, and Adam 4600 13th, with Farfba in 14th. Now obviously the result is a provisional result until the race directors and stewards have done their thing. That basically meaning the drivers have the ability to appeal any of their in-race penalties, view the other driver's footage, and appeal anything that they see on the driver's footage that is not correct, shall we say. So additional penalties could be applied. But our provisional podium will be Hindle, Hybrid Nuke and Rickster, and I am going to need to invite them in as Ray just pointed out to me. So bear with us a moment for the blue screen. Now we do know that with the F1 game, the game does tend to give out a few BS illegal overtake penalties. So for some of the drivers that may have received a few of those, they will more than likely appeal them. So Hybrid Nuke, Hindle and Rickster. and just quickly invite those guys into the podium. Now, at this point, it would be a really good idea for me to go and get a drink. So, Ray, over to you for a couple of seconds. If you can give the drivers the instructions that they need about their microphones when they come in.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay, just waiting on Hindle and Rickster to come in. Hybrid Nick, if you can make sure your microphone is set to share. Okay. Hindle and Rickster, can you make sure your microphone's set to share? DP will be back in a second to...
Okay.
There he is.
I'm back. Where did you get up to? Okay.
I said about share.
Okay. So I've seen that we've got, I think, Hybrid Nuke in the chat part. Have we got Hindle as well?
Yes, and Rickster.
Okay, so we've got all three drivers then in ready for the podium interviews. Might not be as hostile as last week. We'll find out. So Hindle taking the victory here in Monza. How much of it do you think was down to the safety car restart?
I'd say a little bit, because if it wasn't for the safety car restart, Hybrid would have been right behind me from lap 1.
Quite possibly. Had you pre-decided the point that you were going to go from? Because you went sort of early, you went in a Ascari, which as the lead driver you can do. What you can't do is then bang your brakes on. Once you've gone, you've got to keep going. But you did it early and you did open up a little bit of a gap straight away. So was it predetermined you go in at that point?
Yeah, I said to him, he said, will you let me know because I need to get past Richter's ASAP. I said, yeah, I'm going. I said, I think it was just coming out of sector 1, so I'm going in this M32 Ascari. But I kind of went a little bit earlier. As soon as I turned out of the second Lesmo, I said, I'm gone. Because I seen Richter was warming up his tyres, so I thought, right, I'm going.
Yeah, a little bit sneaky, a little bit cheeky. Now, when it came to a couple of your pit stops, well, actually, I mean, you made your first stop, put the prime tyres on. I think you came out in a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Did it come? Well, I mean, we could see that you wanted to get past as quick as possible. Was it crucial that you did? Because was there a fear of, if I get held up, it's going to cost me big time?
Yeah, knowing what I know now, it was more crucial than I thought it was at the time, because I lost a second in the middle sector on my previous best, and that was on obviously options, but a second still quite a lot. And then Hybrid told me he was on the options, so I thought if I lost more time, it may have the undercut might not have worked.
Definitely. Did you think anyone was going to be going for a one stop?
GP, because he went so long on the first start. He went so long on the first stint, and I weren't exactly gaining so much time on it. I was only gaining a few tenths.
So, obviously, you kind of spotted what he might be trying to do. So, as a driver, how much effect does that have on you mentally, concentration-wise? Because you've got to put your own lap times in. But if you've got to try and mathematically work out what he might do, how much of a put-off is that?
Not too much. I mean, you are thinking of, if he's still out on dead tyres and I do catch him, I don't want to get held up. Where am I going to pass him? But yeah, it wasn't too much, because the thing is with Monza, there's just the long straights, so you've got time to think.
Yes, that is true. So add to that race then, highlight from it for yourself.
The win.
Well, I suppose that's always a good part. But very well done on the victory there. We'll come back to you in a little while. We'll move on to second place, Rickster. Oh, sorry, I mean Hybrid Nuke. Hey. Sorry, Rickster. I'm sorry. Hybrid Nuke. Okay. Obviously, Hindle's had a fantastic safety car restart. He's done what the leader can do. You, I think, have been in the situation of safety car restarts before, of sort of being held up a little bit, or a car going slow, or being the car that went slow. So you were obviously prepared for when Hindle went. Rickster wasn't. Did it cost you?
Yeah, I believe it did. You know, I went into whatever corner it was, and I couldn't go for it how I wanted to. So it was a bit frustrating, but nonetheless, it was all right.
True. So your strategy, you went option prime. In hindsight, would you have done it differently?
Do you know, after the start, I was thinking, I've got to take a risk. I was running a little bit more wing. I was running 3-1. It did, I find, compromise me in the straights, but for me, it was all about I don't want a penalty. I do not want a penalty. So it slightly cost me, so I had to take a bit of a risk, and it didn't pay out. But another day it might.
True. So, how annoying was it having Rickster jump you in the pit stop, being ahead of you on the prime tyre, and being as close as he was on the prime tyre when you got ahead of him, because he weren't really dropping off much?
Yeah. I mean, we've been saying all week that Rickster, I even sent him a message before the race, he was going to be a problem for me, especially.
Yeah.
I knew it. So, honestly, a great drive by Rickster. Unfortunate for the penalty. On that penalty, I completely forgot at the end where he got it. If it was on this race or the one before, I was going, oh my God, where did he get the penalty? How am I going to get it? So it was a bit of a panic towards the end, but a great drive by Rickster.
Well, I'm sure he will appreciate that. Okay, did the Red Bull wear off in that final stint?
Yeah, it wore off before the race, man. We had two safety car restarts. One, I really needed a wee.
Oh.
And I was, by midway, my energy levels were going.
I feel your pain. It's not nice doing a race when you really need the bathroom. Just like it's not nice doing commentary without a drink. So I feel your pain. But I mean, the big question with that one is, and it is something that all drivers may have to consider at some point, especially if a title is on the line. If you're not feeling well, or you're busting for the toilet and you can't hold it, and you're in a race where you need the points, what do you do? Do you stop? Or do you just go?
I looked at the can and I'm thinking, that holds a little bit too small. But it's all on the line. Whoever wins this championship in the end honestly deserves it.
Well, you know what?
We're both giving what we've got. So
True.
He's coming out on top so far, but we'll see at the end.
I was going to keep the podium interviews quite short and sweet this evening, but now that I know you really need the toilet, I'm going to make them longer. But very well done very well done on second place. We may come back to you in a few moments' time. Before we quickly move over to Rickster, we'll just say to the YouTube viewers, if you do have any questions you want us to ask to the drivers, feel free to comment now, or to any of the other drivers that want to just give us an update on how they felt their race went, and we'll catch up with those a little later on. But over to Rickster, third place. I tell you what, fella, a fantastic drive. You must be devastated with that penalty at the end. Well, I don't know when you got the penalty, but you must be devastated that you got second, you came third.
Yeah, I'm gutted. I got the penalty really early on. Lap 4 it was. I just lost concentration, went too fast over a corner and just got a 3-second penalty. It was Scary, it was.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was just hoping the whole race that Hybrid had a penalty, because I knew if I got past him, I'd have to try and open that gap, and then seeing that it was 0.04 of a second at the end just killed me. Yeah. But
I can imagine. Well, we've talked to the other guys about the safety car restart. I suppose I should ask, did it catch you out how soon he went?
Yeah, completely. I remember the last safety car restart. It went quite early, and I was expecting to do the same, but I didn't expect it to be that early, and I just completely lost it on the safety car restart.
Do you think that possibly cost you a chance of doing better? 'Cause I suppose it's one of those things, had you been able to stay closer to him, perhaps could have fought for the win or pulled further away from Hybrid?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, yeah, he did gain a few seconds on me at the safety car restart, and which meant me battling with Hybrid most of the race. So that did cost me a bit. I mean, if I didn't, I could have been, a little bit more in front of Hybrid and maybe catching him. But it is what it is.
That is true. Okay, so when you're on the prime tyres, second stint, you jump Hybrid in the pits. Obviously buzzing about that one. You're aware that he's probably going to be a little bit quicker. If you knew he was on the options when he came past you, you wouldn't know. So how crucial was it for you, and did it sort of cross your mind, if I can stay close, slipstream him, we might be alright here? But how crucial was it to do that?
Yeah, very. I mean, I was in front of him. I obviously got the undercut, and I was in front of him for a good lap or two, and I thought he was on the primes, and then he caught up to me on the options, and I was actually quite, I was glad to see that he was on the options.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, that means I'm going to be on the options at the end, so I can catch him at the end. So if he does get in front of me, it's not a problem. I just got to try and stick with him, which is exactly what I did. He didn't get too far ahead of me. And then when I got on the option tyre, I just absolutely gunned it on the last stint.
Well, it worked. A fantastic drive. Took second place in the race. Unfortunately, with the penalty, it is a provisional third place, but a very good race anyway. Ray, have any questions to fire to the drivers?
Just Endo, what was your race strategy after the safety car restart?
Always a two-stop. I do know I'm quick, but I know it comes at the expense of I'm awful on my tyres. I'm probably one of the worst of the drivers on my tyres. I just completely destroy them. But yeah, it was always going to be a two-stop.
Hybrid, what happened between you and Casely? I'm just reading.
I'm trying to think back to that. Oh, I
remember what he did. Well, I don't remember what he did. All I remember is him going, Casely!
I think it was catching Casely quite quick in the braking zones when Casely was on 12, 13 lap old prime tyres. So perhaps a few braking zone swear words being evicted from someone's mouth there. Okay.
The rest, that's all the questions, but I do have driver's information.
Well, we'll come to the... Actually, go on then, Ray.
Well, Rickster's in chat. I'll just do the one that's for him, and it's your teammate Charles Hall. He says, "You're getting some love tonight, son."
I told you they know how to party in Italy, and we're not surprised he tried to help you hold you up actually there, Hybrid, because I don't think he intentionally wanted to let Rickster through, but he had a bit of a moment in a corner, had no choice to, and then slotted in behind him.
He did do that, and he was like, Hybrid's going to hate me.
He sent me a message saying, I wanted to hold you up.
Yeah. But unfortunately for Charlie on the different tyres there, it didn't work. But I will say though, I mean, well done to Charlie. His first race running very, very few assists, and considering the last couple of races he has ended up having an in-game DSQ, he got to the end. So well done to Charlie on that one. I'm going to fire some last moment questions now to these guys. Hindle, you say you're really harsh on the tyres. Is that going to be a problem in Singapore at a track that hates tyres?
Again, I do think that, but Singapore, not a lot of people like it. I, for some reason, do, and I've got quite a lot of pace from there. So I'm hoping the pace advantage I think I may have can kind of cover my arse, to be honest.
Fair enough. Hybrid Nuke, what do you think about your chances for the Singapore Grand Prix?
thinking I might have to hide my face a little bit here. To be honest, I'd say that I'm, along with GP, being one of the best at preserving tyres. So, if I don't have the pace, hopefully my tyres hold out.
True. I mean, one of the things with the Singapore circuit is you got the start finish to overtake, the second straight to overtake, the rest of the track you're pretty much single file. Exactly.
I'm hoping, to be honest, to be able to show my pace. I mean, Monaco was a bad one, so I'm hoping to show my pace around a walled circuit.
Well, we'll see what happens. And Rickster, on to yourself. Singapore, one you look forward to?
I love Singapore. That and Monaco are my favourite tracks. I've got some good pace around there, like Hindle. I know a couple of years ago, I didn't do very well saving fuel, but tyres shouldn't be a problem for me, I don't think.
We're an odd bunch, us drivers, the ones of us that love Monaco and love Singapore. I mean, majority of people do hate Singapore. But no, I must admit, I'd agree with you both, with all three of you there. Monaco and Singapore, they're the best on the calendar as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, for sure. It's more dangerous.
Yes. Okay, over to Ray. We've got any final questions to fire at the drivers?
Yeah, if you've got two 20-pence pieces and you flip them up there.
Actually, I'll tell you what, just in case you get it wrong, Ray, I'll give these, shall I give it to them? Shall I give them the question of the day?
Yes, come on.
Okay, right, guys. Go on, Ray. What have you got?
It's bugging me.
Well, I'm not going to give them the answer just yet. No. Right. The question of the day is: you've got two 20-pence pieces. For anyone that doesn't know what they are, coins. You've got two 20-pence pieces, one in each hand. Right, in each hand. You flick them both up. You catch them both. What are the odds of them landing both on heads?
Can I just define? You mean heads of the coins, not on your head.
Heads of the coins, not on your own head.
50%.
I'd go with 50%, but the way the question is, I'd go 0%.
That's three wrong answers.
Someone's typing it in the phone. Somebody's just Somebody's typing it in the phone.
One coin. If you flick it, you have actually got a 60% chance of getting head.
No. Would you like to? Shall I give out the answer? Right.
Go for it.
Technically, the answer is you have a 1 in 4 chance of landing heads. The reason being, you can have heads, tails, tails, or tails heads. So you've got a 1 in 4 chance. But then if you really wanted to get even more technical about it, it'd be a 1 in 6 chance, because there is always the possibility that you could flick both coins, drop one or drop both of them, and lands on its edge. So it's not 50-50, it's not 1 in 2, it's 1 in 4. So there you go, there's your question of the day. Well, we have to watch next week for next week's question of the day. Okay, drivers on the podium, thank you very much for joining on the podium interviews. Well done in that race. It's getting quite late, so we will now politely ask you to make your way to your parties. Otherwise, Ray will get his big boot out. Oh, have a good sleep. And me and Ray will do our signing off. So thank you very much, and well done to those drivers. Okay, Ray, do we have any final comments from any of the other drivers that did not make it onto the podium?
Yeah, with the Rickster. Beat it.
He's still sat there Googling what are the odds of 20p.
Bye.
See you later, Rickster.
At 69, too much lag on there was too much lag on the restart. I kept having to brake when I shouldn't need to. Like we seen the Casely and Charlie accident on the second safety car lap, the restart. Anything else? Just go through them. GP says he can one-stop the Singapore.
Well, you never know. I do think GP was actually planning on one-stopping this race here today, but
the tyres burnt up. His prime's burnt up too soon.
Yeah,
he was doing that.
I mean, if he'd have been able to get 4 more laps out of them, it'd have been on.
Yeah, and that incident by his illegal overtake penalty, Casey let him past, but he got a penalty for it.
Oh,
GP got the penalty, so
that'll be one that will probably end up being appealed then. So, do we have any comments from anybody else?
No, that is everything.
Okay, now apologies viewers and drivers that it's been quite a long one today with the safety car restarts, but it is why we try and emphasise to the drivers, try and make sure your connection's good. Yeah, it all helps to make a better show. Anyway, time for us to pretty much sign off then. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be tomorrow evening for the FRR Ride Ace Cup round 13, or should I say round 12 plus 1 in Singapore. The FRR Ride Ace being the feeder series into our F1 leagues. So if you've been watching this and feel I want to get involved in that, find Front Row Racing on Facebook with the one with the picture of the Silverstone wing. Send us a message and we'll give you the relevant information. After that, the next live show on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be next Wednesday for the World Championship, the No Assist League for round 12 plus 1 at Singapore. Should be a very, very interesting race, that one. Now, I do know that obviously we haven't been showing our Project Cars leagues recently. It's because we're on a bit of a break. That will get up and running in the near future, and that'll be on Friday evenings and Sunday evenings. Okay, only really one thing left to say, and that is thank you very much, Ray, for joining me on the commentary.
Oh, thank you, and thanks to Squirrel as well, although he buggered off.
He did bugger off. He wasted no time when we had to do round 3.
To get some nuts.
I tell you what, though, that guy really can sing. Okay, right, so that's it. It's over. Round 12 is done. Round 13 is next. This has been the Front Row Racing World Series. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.